So let's talk about China. When you're operating in a market this complex, a single decision can literally make or break you. This isn't just about getting a little bit of an edge, it's about achieving true strategic dominance. You know, people often compare the Chinese market to a dragon. It's powerful, it's ancient, and it is deeply, deeply complex. For any business trying to navigate cross-border operations, taming this dragon is everything. Success here is never about guesswork. It's all about having the right tools to just slice through the noise and act with total precision and clarity. All right, picture this. An unexpected 50,000 euro payment just lands in your company's bank account. It's from a brand new Chinese partner. Your first thought? Awesome. But that excitement, it fades pretty fast, right? And it's replaced by a really big question. Is this a fantastic start to a new partnership? Or is it the first sign of a massive compliance nightmare? That feeling of uncertainty, that pit in your stomach, it comes from a very real problem that we call the China compliance gap. You're basically trying to manage one single transaction that has to exist in two completely different legal universes at the exact same time. And what you're seeing here really visualizes that challenge perfectly. On one side, you got all your German and Western compliance laws. Think anti-money laundering, supply chain acts, you name it. But on the other side, you have this whole other world of Chinese security and data laws. And they don't just speak different languages. Their core principles can be fundamentally at odds. You need a bridge, right? Some kind of central command center to make sense of it all. And that's exactly where this idea of a central command center comes into play. You should think of it as your own personal arsenal of tools, designed for one thing: bringing absolute clarity to these incredibly murky situations. So this arsenal has three main weapons. You've got a legal advisor for specific questions and a scenario analyzer for looking ahead at contracts. But for our case today, the one we're really going to focus on is the first one, the OODA-loop. It's an incredibly powerful tool built specifically for crisis reaction and sharp tactical decision-making. So let's get back to our 50,000 euro problem. We're going to walk through step by step how you handle this kind of anomaly, how you can turn what looks like a high-risk mess into a controlled, fully compliant process. All right, here's the intelligence dossier. It lays out the key facts. We've got an unusually high prepayment, over 50,000 euros, from a Chinese company that was just founded. And here's the biggest red flag of all. We have no idea who actually owns the company. The mission is crystal clear. We need to achieve full compliance and shut down any legal risks. Now, to tackle this, we are not just going to react blindly. We're going to use a structured, battle-tested methodology designed for exactly these kinds of high-pressure situations. The OODA-loop, it's a system for moving from total chaos to complete control. The OODA-loop, it sounds complicated, but it's a brilliantly simple framework. It just breaks down any decision into four logical phases. First, you observe the situation. Then, you orient yourself by understanding the context. After that, you decide on a course of action. And finally, you act on that decision. Observe, orient, decide, act. Simple. So in phase 1, observe, the only goal is to gather the facts. That's it. The system scans the whole transaction to identify the key data points and critical warning signs, but with zero judgment or analysis just yet. We're just looking. And here's what that looks like. It's brilliant. The tool immediately flags that the transaction is over the German anti-money laundering threshold. It notes the company is brand new, has no credit history, and there's a total lack of transparency about who the ultimate beneficial owner, the UBO, is. And remember, these aren't opinions. These are cold, hard facts. Okay, now for the orient phase. And honestly, this is where the magic really happens. The tool takes all those raw facts we just gathered and places them into the complex web of Chinese law and common fraud patterns. This whole step is about connecting the dots. And just look at this. The system instantly brings up the relevant Chinese laws. You've got safe regulations on capital flight, which this payment could be trying to get around. And then there's people, China's strict data protection law, which is exactly why getting owner information can be so tricky. It even recognizes classic fraud patterns like prepayment abuse or UBO obfuscation. So now that we have a crystal clear understanding of the situation, we can move into the decide phase. The system actually generates a full SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and risks to help us move from just analyzing the problem to building a concrete strategy. And what's so powerful about this is that it doesn't just throw a bunch of options at you. No, it tells you the #1 top priority. And in this case, it's this. Conduct an enhanced due diligence and identify the ultimate beneficial owner. It even tells you why, it's your legal duty for high-risk partners, and it gives you a clear urgency level, very high. And finally, we get to the act phase. This is the surgical action plan. It's not some vague suggestion, it's a precise, timed set of instructions. Step 1, today. Internally block that payment and send out a Know Your Customer questionnaire. Step 2, this week, request their official business license and an extract from the company registry. Step 3, within 14 days, get official confirmation of their safe registration for this payment. Done. So the OODA-loop is complete, but the work isn't quite done. Because the real value, the payoff, is turning all of that data and analysis into a defensible, auditable record that can stand up in court. And that's what happens next. The system generates two absolutely critical documents: a court-proof legal memorandum and a comprehensive compliance checklist. This is the real prize, the tangible proof that you acted diligently, correctly, and responsibly. So first, this legal memorandum becomes your official record. It formally documents the whole situation, the relevant laws in both Germany and China, and every action you took. For any compliance officer, auditor, or even a regulator, this document is pure gold. And then the checklist is what puts compliance into action. It's basically an interactive to-do list that ensures every single required step, from the KYC checks all the way to sanctions list screening, is completed, tracked, and accounted for. Absolutely nothing falls through the cracks. So when you put this all together, what does it really add up to? Well, it's about way more than just solving one problem. It's about building an entirely new capability. Here's the most important point. A structured approach like this transforms all that complexity and uncertainty into a clear, decisive, and legally bulletproof path forward. It gives you a repeatable process that puts you in control, even in the most high-stakes environments. That is what strategic dominance looks like. So that really just leaves us with one critical question. Your next cross-border compliance crisis, it isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. The only real question is, are you equipped to dominate that decision?